I never knew what terror was until I saw it. And they kept playing that video over and over. And I can only think to myself, there was an incident a few months prior where I went into the store with my mom. My mother had paid for some candy bars. And she said, okay, I'm going to go back outside. I need you to go back in there and get your brother a candy bar. So I go back into the store. I had the bag. The receipt was in the bag. I get the candy and I have my head down because I'm counting my money. There was a hooker in the store. And she said, hold on. Her mama outside. I'm going to go get her mama. I look up and the lady got the gun cocked. And I'm looking down this barrel. My mom runs into the store. And she said, she paid for this. Here's the receipt. Here's the money for this candy bar. Tybee, let's go. You tell your friends, do not come back to this store because this woman's going to kill somebody. This was something that we got used to. You get used to it. And what people don't realize is that wasn't the first time that lady tried to pull something on one of the kids in that neighborhood. And I remember telling Tasha a few days later, I said, yeah, my mom said don't go back to that store. You know, she pulled that gun out again. And Tasha was like, oh, she always doing that, but she never pulled the trigger. So don't trip. She just do that to scare us. So I didn't think about it. But when I saw what I saw on TV, I felt bad because I was like, I told her. Why didn't she listen? I had that bad feeling like this lady's going to do something. I just don't know what it is. And every time we go into that store, whether it's me, whether it was her, whether it was Shanice, whether it was any of the other kids in this neighborhood, we always had to go in there like, okay, just be prepared. You're going to get hit with something. It's just what they're going to call us monkeys this time, or they're going to follow us around the store, or they're going to just put us out just because. But I saw that and I shut down.
Store owner Soon Jadu thought 15-year-old LaTasha Harlins was going to steal some orange juice.
She had the money in her hand. You could see the money in the videotape. And the suspect grabbed the backpack, and there became a physical altercation over the backpack. And as our victim turned to walk away from the scene, the suspect...
LaTasha was an A student, honor roll student. She got money every week for her allowance, so she did not have to steal orange juice.
LaTasha Harlins' story represents the disheartening reality of how unjust the justice system can be towards Black people. At the young age of 15 years old, LaTasha Harlins' life was senselessly taken while she was trying to purchase a $1.79 bottle of orange juice at the neighborhood Korean corner store. Born January 1st, 1976, in East St. Louis, Illinois, she was a light to her family and her friends. LaTasha had dreams of becoming a lawyer so that she could help her family and those in her neighborhood. In 1985, LaTasha lost her mother to gun violence when she was only 9 years old. After the death of her mother, LaTasha and her siblings moved in with her grandmother, who resided in Los Angeles, California. On March 16, 1991, LaTasha was shot in the back of her head by a 49-year-old Korean lady named Soon Do, who was known to terrorize the neighborhood kids. Mrs. Do is said to continuously pull a gun on the neighborhood kids or call them racist names when they shopped in her store. Mrs. Do was charged with manslaughter and received a sentence of 10 years in prison. Judge Joyce Cartlin overrided the 10-year sentence and gave Mrs. Do 5 years of probation, 400 hours of community service, and a $500 restitution fine for LaTasha's funeral expenses.
Opinion that Mrs. Dew is not a danger to the community and that she is not going to reoffend.
I know a criminal when I see one. I know a person who presents a danger to the community when I see one.
Shortly after, the corner store was burned down and Mrs. Dew and her husband went into hiding. But the injustice does not end there, because 13 days after LaTasha Harlins' murder, the Rodney King beating happened, for which we all know the cops who were responsible got off for. The injustice behind the story is heartbreaking, because had the child been a white girl purchasing juice that day, the sentencing would have been different. There is a documentary of LaTasha's story on Netflix, which I encourage everybody to go watch. It's been over 30 years, but let's keep LaTasha's story alive in our hearts and in our spirit. R.I.P. to LaTasha, and may Mrs. Dew get her just due. The end.
She got away with murder.
I damn sure hope so, that there would be all the hell in the black community.
Somebody would care.
That would stand up and see this insanity for exactly what it is.
Since we don't pick cotton anymore and cut sugar cane, our lives is not worth anything.